Alrighty, as you can see here, it is 9:45 a.m. on this Friday, November 28th, 2025. And, well, a few days ago, as I was watching mainstream media and the crawl of headline news down at the bottom of the TV screen, there was a headline about Donald Trump and the golden age of transportation. Okay? Now, we've been hearing a lot in regards to a golden age. All right? Things are going according to prophecies, whether it's prophecy through Nostradamus or what is known as the Holy Bible. We still have a lot of talk about this golden age. And I wanted to go that much more into this man Nostradamus and his prophecies and predictions and so on and so forth. But I got going down a rabbit hole of research that really had some startling results, if you ask me. And yes, I am using my Canon camera, and we're going to diminish some of this light so we can see this a little bit better, maybe even turn this up brighter. And okay, so we can see here what we're supposed to be having in our forecast today. It is currently still snowing out here, which, well, I don't know how well this will pick up, but we are once again getting some frozen precipitation. All right, but let's get into the meat and potatoes of what I wanted to present. Going back to this metaphysics, and what I put in for the search was metaphysics meaning. All right, so as we go into this, and what we have here is the branch of philosophy that deals with the first principles of things, including abstract concepts such as being, knowing, substance, cause, identity, time, and space. They would regard the question of the initial conditions for the universe as belonging to the realm of metaphysics or religion. Abstract theory with no basis in reality. The very subject of milk pricing involves one in a wonderland of accounting practice and a metaphysics all its own. Okay, so what is metaphysics in simple terms? Metaphysics is the branch of philosophy that examines the fundamental nature of reality, including the relationship between mind and matter, between substance and attribute, and between potentiality and actuality. Does this not sound much akin to my content? Okay, but let's continue on that much more. Okay, so who is God in metaphysics? In classical theism, God is characterized as the metaphysically ultimate being, the first, timeless, absolutely simple and sovereign being who is devoid of any anthropomorphic qualities, in distinction to other conceptions such as theistic personalism, open theism, and process theism. Okay? So let's continue on. What is a real life example of metaphysics? Metaphysics appears in everyday life through our attempts to make sense of reality, from fundamental questions about our own identity and consciousness to concepts like free will, the mind-body connection, and nature of time. It also influences our ethical and social values like justice, fairness, and truth, as well as our motivations and expectations for the future. Okay, now we go on, but we'll continue on. What is metaphysical spirituality? Metaphysical spirituality is a belief system that explores the nature of reality beyond the physical world, focusing on unseen forces, universal energy, and higher consciousness. Does this not once again parallel to all of my content? Okay, it involves practices like meditation, crystal healing, and ritual to achieve personal growth, fulfillment, and a deeper connection to the universe. Okay, and how well this is actually focusing on. Core concepts include the idea that one's spiritual and material lives are interconnected and that all things are part of a unified experience. Okay? And we can continue. Mind, body, spirit, unity, but of course I go one further to include the soul. There's 4 parts to the body, okay? The spirit is to the mind as the soul is to the body. That is my theory. Okay? Okay, and we can continue on with that, but we need to continue on with others. What does the Bible say about metaphysics? The Bible addresses metaphysical concepts by discussing the nature of God, the creation of the universe, and the relationship between the spiritual and physical realms. Although it does not present a formal, technical, metaphysical system, key biblical ideas relevant to metaphysics include God as the eternal, singular, first cause of all things, the Trinity, blah, 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 and I won't go further into that because of, once again, my thoughts, feelings, and opinions and theories surrounding that so-called Holy Bible or good book or whatever. Once again, you have to research into King James and what he was involved in, the Freemason Society. Okay? We're getting there. So, what's another word for metaphysical? Okay, supernatural, transcendental, spiritual, otherworldly, abstract, and theoretical. Okay. Was Jesus a metaphysician? Christ Jesus wrought the wonders of his ministry on a purely metaphysical basis. He looked beyond matter to divine mind, God to find cause, and he utilized the forces of spirit, intelligence, integrity, love to destroy the false mental causes of disease and limitation. Okay? So, you Bible thumpers out there, think about this. All right? So let's continue on. Let's go to what religion is metaphysical. Are you ready for this? The book follows evolving versions of metaphysical religion, including Freemasonry, early Mormonism, Universalism, and Transcendentalism, and further incarnations as spiritualism, Theosophy, New Thought, Christian Science, reinvented versions of Asian ideas and practices, and the New Age movement. Okay? Freemasonry. Now, I never knew that studies into the metaphysical realms is actually a religion. And that I have actually been thrust into this type of religion without even realizing it, because of my abilities to be able to connect many dots of Freemasonry and how far back it goes. And, you know, what we are living today is the results of many centuries of this so-called religion. Yeah. And you know, I see the signs in the skies. I see the signs all around. The symbologies and the false narratives of fake histories. And you know, and I connect the dots. Okay? Let's go ahead and go with this. What is Donald Trump's view on Christianity? Alongside white, Trump is inclined towards the cultural values of doctrines that are fundamental to charismatic Christianity, which include prosperity, theology, anti-intellectualism, Zionism, and messianisms. Think about this, people, especially when he just stated that he was going to do what? Postpone the return of who? Okay, so what do you call someone who practices metaphysics? Methodology. Metaphysicians employ a variety of methods to develop metaphysical theories and formulate arguments for and against them. What is the difference between metaphysical and supernatural? This is AI overview. While both metaphysical and supernatural refer to things beyond the physical, metaphysics is a philosophical study of the fundamental nature of reality, while supernatural refers to specific phenomena or entities that are considered to be beyond nature. Think of it as a study versus a subject. A philosopher studying the existence of things is engaged in metaphysics, and the belief in a ghost or an angel is belief in something supernatural. Okay? Does metaphysics go against Christianity? While there is not a detailed metaphysical system specified in Scripture that all Christians must embrace, the Bible certainly does speak to metaphysical issues, including the ultimate nature of God. He is a singular being, eternally blah, 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 and which, well, yeah, I got my thoughts of that. Okay, and then it just goes into, okay, do Muslims believe in metaphysics? Among the Greek philosophical disciplines transmitted to the Arabic and Islamic world, metaphysics was of paramount importance, as its pivotal role in the overall history of the transmission of Greek thought into Arabic culture makes evident. Okay, and as far as you want to go ahead and toss in the Jewish beliefs and all that, you have to go back into the stories of the Golem, the created protector of the Jews through sorcery, made from clay, a creature that defended the Jews. And that was brought about through metaphysics and more. William McKinley, one of the most devout presidents. Methodism. Okay? Religion. It's nothing more than a control system. Who is God in metaphysics? Yeah. The Bible condemns spiritism and consulting mediums. Spiritism denies God's revelation of salvation. It offers a false way of salvation. Spiritism denies biblical teachings about angels, Jesus, miracles, resurrection, heaven and hell. But of course, none of that is proven. Okay? But yet, within the realm of metaphysics and the tie-ins to the Bible, and you really have to differentiate realities from false narratives. And the Bible, as far as I'm concerned, is full of contradictory false narratives. So, yeah. So Jesus, was he a metaphysician? We already seen this. And we can, we can continue on down through a rabbit hole, This is absolute nonsense here. Especially if you were paying attention to the inauguration that was held for number 47 and where it took place and all the symbolisms that could be seen within the Capitol building during that inauguration. And it just keeps going on and on and on. Bill Gates and Jesus, and you cannot believe anything that these people of power have to say, especially when it comes down to religion. Okay? So, metaphysics apparently is more than it is defined as being, as now we have seen. And metaphysics apparently is something that I am so involved in that, and I never realized it. And it's put quite the not so happy slap to the forehead, if you will. So my whole content revolves around metaphysics. And it's something that I've just realized. And so much of my content is explained and defined through metaphysics and its definitions. And I just thought that I really needed to share this because it does really explain my content and myself. I guess I am a metaphysician, which also ties into physician, because of my ties to natural healing and nature. There's a whole lot more to this than what I ever realized. And it's more than just philosophy, because we are dealing with reality and not the false narratives, the lies and deceptions that, well, I was programmed through as far as our educational system, religion, entertainment through movies and TV series, books even. My whole life has revolved around this thing known as metaphysics, and my channel and its content and its complete history has revolved around this thing known as metaphysics. This man here apparently was also heavily involved in this thing known as metaphysics. And we'll go more into this man in due time, as once again I have more connections that I can make. And of course, it all ties in to the future through prophecies. And how do we get these prophecies? Well, it's because of time looping scenarios. Because you cannot predict or prophesize the future without the future have already happened. And that, my friends, is part of the philosophy within metaphysics. Time. And I have my secondary channel, Dragonfire Investigative Research, that is dedicated to basically that of time and space. And again, falling fully into that realm known as metaphysics. It has brought about quite the revelation into my life once I came across this. And of course, you know, I brought metaphysics up in past content, but never to this extent of understanding or what I have come to realize. So anyways, with this being going on 22 minutes long, there it is, we will end this. Let me know your thoughts, people, if you so desire. But that is that. This is what I wanted to bring forth. I don't know what else to say beyond what I've already stated and what you've seen. Once again, let me know your thoughts. But otherwise, have yourselves a great one. Take care. Thank you for watching. This is Skywise. Signing off. Skywise. Out.